South Korea is in turmoil. South Korea's president backs down from martial law. And what do we know about what's going on there? President Yoon Suk Yeol of South Korea declared martial law on Tuesday night, accusing the opposition of trying to overthrow the free democracy. But about 5 hours later, he said he would lift the declaration, bowing to pressure after the National Assembly unanimously passed a resolution demanding that it ends. Quote, "I will lift the martial law as soon as we have a quorum in the cabinet. It's early in the morning, so we don't have a quorum yet," end quote, Yoon said in an address. He called on the legislature to immediately stop the outrageous behavior that is paralyzing the functioning of the country with impeachments, legislative manipulation, and budget manipulation. It was the first martial law declaration in more than 4 decades in South Korea, which saw the end of military dictatorship in the late 1980s. Mr. Yoon, who was elected president in 2022, has been in a near constant political standoff with the opposition, which controls parliament, and his government has faced plunging public approval ratings. In his speech declaring martial law late Tuesday, Mr. Yoon said he was making the move to defend the Free Republic of Korea from the threats of North Korean communist forces and to eradicate the shameless pro-North Korean anti-state forces that are plundering the freedom and happiness of our people and to protect the free constitutional order, he said. Through this emergency martial law, he says, I will rebuild and defend the Free Republic of Korea, which is falling into ruin. So what does the martial law declaration mean? The country's constitution states that the president may proclaim martial law when required to cope with a military necessity or to maintain the public safety and order by mobilization of the military forces in time of war, armed conflict, or similar national emergency. Army General Park An-soo, who was appointed martial law commander by Mr. Yoon, banned all political activities, including political party activities and citizens' rallies. All news media and publications are under the control of martial law command, General Park said. His edict also banned labor activities and spreading fake news. Those who violate the decree can be arrested without a court warrant, it said. And according to South Korean news agency Yonhap, the martial law command says all media and publishers are to be under its control and orders all medical staff, including trainee doctors, many of whom have been on strike, to return to work in 48 hours. Those who violate the martial law can be arrested without a warrant. Now, who is Yoon Suk Yeol? Mr. Yoon, former prosecutor. We know that in Asia, the last name is first. Yoon. Okay. Yoon Suk Yeol, the former prosecutor, won an extremely close presidential election in 2022, bringing the country's conservatives back to power with calls for a more confrontational stance against North Korea and a stronger alliance with the United States. He replaced President Moon Jae-in, a progressive leader who served a single 5-year term and by law could not run again. And when he was sworn into office in May of that year, Mr. Yoon vowed to stand for values including freedom and liberal democracy. Soon after he was elected, however, Yoon began turning to lawsuits, state regulators, and criminal investigations to clamp down on speech that he called disinformation, efforts that were largely aimed at news organizations. Police and prosecutors repeatedly raided the homes and newsrooms of journalists whom his office has accused of spreading fake news. In April, Yoon's People Power Party suffered a stinging defeat in parliamentary elections, giving the opposition a huge majority. He became the first South Korean president in decades to contend with an opposition-controlled parliament for his entire time in office. So you can imagine how difficult it would have been for him. How did South Korea's political parties react? Han Dong-hoon, the leader of Mr. Yoon's own People Party, said the declaration of martial law was wrong and that he will block it. South Korea's Yonhap news agency reports. Lee Jae-myung, Myung, yes, the South Korean opposition leader, recorded a video in a car on his way to the National Assembly, asking citizens to congregate there. There is no reason to declare martial law. We cannot let the military rule this country, he said. President Yoon Suk Yeol has betrayed the people. President Yoon's illegal declaration of emergency martial law is null and void. From this moment on, Mr. Yoon is no longer the president of South Korea. So you can imagine what's going on there. Lee Jae-young, South Korean lawmaker who is members of the Democratic Party, wrote on Facebook that she was making her way to the National Assembly. She said, "We will stop this at all costs." So how could martial law be lifted? Under South Korean law, martial law can be lifted with a majority vote in the parliament. I'm sure they're going to get it, where the opposition Democratic Party holds a majority. So they're going to vote it in, of course, to be lifted. When the National Assembly requests the lifting of martial law, the president shall without delay do so and announce it, the law states. Live footage from National Assembly shows that some lawmakers seem to be holding an emergency meeting held by Woo Won-shik, the Speaker of the National Assembly. Mr. Woo later said President Yoon's declaration of martial law had become null and void after the Assembly adopted a resolution demanding its lifting. This is from New York Times on DNYUZ. I would venture to say that South Korea is going as fast as possible for new elections for president. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.